this is just a minor gripe for me, but I feel like they could have given Konohamaru more to do as well. That would have been
It was like
fun.
running for like 5 episodes,
In
showed up
that arc,
after it
or
ended.
now, or just
Because
all of Boruto for that matter.
my problem is Konohamaru, he was going great in the arc.
Yeah,
He got his moment with Moegi. He's got his moment with Mitsuki, and his conflict was being practically being the third Okage's son, Orochimaru's son, and Orochimaru killed his grandfather,
I
somebody he loved
love
very
that.
dearly.
Yes.
Um, I feel like his reunion with Mitsuki could have been given a lot more It kind of just felt to me very nonchalant. I think that they could have given that scene a lot more
Yeah.
emphasis because to me it just felt very bland. Like,
Also,
oh, you're here and you're here. It didn't feel dramatic
I
enough
feel like
to
if
me.
they were going to do that, they should have played off of that by having elements of that like introduction, like planted as seeds in Mitsuki's introduction. Like the first time Konohamaru and Mitsuki meet, they should have done that so they can play
Mm.
off of that for here.
They could have.
They should have done what specifically?
Had Konohamaru basically look at Mitsuki in the same way Aruka, you could say, looked at Naruto in chapter 1 before Naruto goes after the scroll.
Oh, feel like he's getting vibes of Orochimaru or something. Like just to be like, there's something about him I don't like or something.
Well, like with Aruka, it's like he was unsure whether or not to hate Naruto at first. Because like the village wanted to, but it seemed like he didn't want to. And it's like he was like wavering on the line in between. We didn't know which way he was going to go. Because
Mhm.
because we know that Aruka lost his parents from the Nine Tails, and he knows that Naruto has the Nine Tails, and we know that the village hates Naruto, and we know that like Aruka looks at Naruto a certain way. So watching it as the audience member in
You
chapter
know what?
1, we didn't know what was going to happen there.
Mhm.
It's like
I
the
feel like they
struggle
also could have
they gotta
made
handle.
emphasized how Mitsuki felt in that moment a little bit more, like he was being accepted by his captain. That could have been
Yeah.
nice to add some stuff to that as well. Because to me, Mitsuki didn't really say anything from my memory. He just was very nonchalant as well. I don't know. That moment just could have had more impact. I also think. Mm, see, the problem is, it would have been nice to give Konohamaru an action scene in that arc. It's just kind of hard he can't be in the main conflict when
Yeah,
it
but the
comes
thing is, like,
to
they had him
Q.
like sneaking
Can't
around, like
be
they were
there.
building up towards something with him.
Why can't he be at the main conflict? Because
Yeah, and
Sasuke was at the main conflict in the war. It's like the same idea. Sasuke still wanted
because the
revolution.
whole point is
Yeah, go ahead.
because with Q, the people say that the kids beat Q. They didn't. They lost miserably. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if Konohamaru was there, they would have won.
So it's a
if Kona, if because of
is hang on, do you is your reason for excluding
kind
him
of
a narrative thing or a power scaling thing?
it's a power thing.
Okay.
Because if they're going to keep him as powerful as he was, they were able to damage him. And if Konohamaru and Boruto both used the Rasengan on Q at the same time simultaneously, he would have just died.
Well, I mean, they could just make Ku stronger, like just in
They
proportion to
could.
Konohamaru.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? Yeah. So I would have had Konohamaru there. Um, they would have been a four-way battle, them having an in-depth battle with Q, and then at the end of the day, when you don't want to make Konohamaru look bad because the whole thing with me was like what they should have done in the anime is have Konohamaru have wins, right? Like actual wins. So when he finally loses the Kashinkoji, you feel the impact of his loss. It's not like, oh, there it is, it's Konohamaru
He
taking
lost
another
again.
L. It would be, oh my gosh, Konohamaru actually lost,
But
and he
even
lost
if
badly.
I don't think that's true because even if Konohamaru loses, we still know how strong he is. Like when Kakashi lost against Zabuza, he hadn't got a win up to that point technically, but we still know how strong Kakashi is. He's incredibly strong. Of
The
course he
problem
is.
is but the thing is, but you saw pretty much everything that Kakashi could like kind of do with Kona, and he actually had an in-depth battle with him. Konohamaru's only in-depth battle, which isn't even that, it's not even a battle that he finished, was with freaking Jugo. And in that battle, he got his chakra absorbed and then like shot him with a Rasengan and that was it.
Wasn't
It's
that
like,
after
okay,
this arc?
that's very lovely stuff. Yeah, that is after this arc, but you don't get that stuff before the Mitsuki arc. You don't get anything.
Yeah. I mean,
So it's not.
of course we don't get it before the Mitsuki arc because it happens after this arc. What do you mean? Yeah, that's
Wait, why'd you bring
chronological
that up
order
again?
of events.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Why'd you bring the Kawaki thing up again? Why'd you bring the Kakashi thing up again?
To
You
say
said that's
that
not true
Kakashi
because
hadn't
the
got any wins
Kakashi
yet. He had lost to Zabuza.
Well,
That's the first major battle that we saw. Unless you want to give him the Demon Brothers.
oh no. So that's why I kind of explained that you at least saw him fully display all of his capabilities. You
But he
never saw
hadn't.
that with Konohamaru. The only one that
Kakashi hadn't used the
what?
Sharingan until he used it against Zabuza and he lost. He got trapped in the water prison.
He means like when Zabuza got
You
out of the
still
water prison, like
you
immediately.
you still
Kakashi had
saw
not shown everything he could do yet. He barely did anything in that fight.
yeah,
But like,
and with the Zabuza battle at the end of it, you still see like quite a bit of what Kakashi can do. With Konohamaru, you barely even scratch the surface. He doesn't use shadow clones anymore. He doesn't use any of he uses one fire style jutsu and he uses a Rasengan. He doesn't use any other jutsus that he has in his arsenal. He just uses a Rasengan and Dragon Flame Bomb. That's all he ever
But
does.
we have seen him take
You don't actually get
wins
an
at
in
this point. You
you
just
you
don't see
never
these
have
wins
him
as
have an in-depth you don't see him have an in-depth battle with any opponent,
but
like a prolonged battle.
that's not true. You just don't see them as memorable or you see them as boring. First of all, like literally in episode 1, it's established he's massively,
Okay,
massively
name
above
one.
Boruto. But then in the Team
Name
7's
one.
first mission, he defeats that Jonin.
He defeats that Jonin. That
Yeah, that's
was
like the bridge
wasn't
mission.
a.
That's
It was
essentially Zabuza.
it was a it was a bandit.
Oh my god.
It was just a bandit.
Come
We
on.
don't know what his rank
He
is.
was clearly very strong. Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki struggled against a different one.
Yeah, I mean he was strong, I guess, but it wasn't like I guess that's something. I like that moment a lot. I do. But that's it. The only thing he gets.
I would have to look at all the other
And
arcs.
then
Is the
after
Lemon
that,
arc after this, or is
it's
that before?
just
I think Lemon arc is after.
that's like 60 episodes later. So
Oh,
the argue so Konohamaru has all these wins. That one fodder Jonin guy, if you want to say that he's a Jonin, fine. Um even that wasn't really an in-depth battle. He just kind of demolishes him, which is fine. He does not win against the lemon guy, against the guy who is in the lemon arc, and then he has a series of losses after that. So that's what I mean. Like with the Jugo stuff, that's the only time you actually get something with
okay,
Konohamaru
but we can
of a
be
semi in-depth battle.
just as dishonest to Kakashi
hogtied by
too.
some random bozo tuning later
I'm
If
on.
we're looking
not.
at the
How
actions
am I
of
being
win and
dishonest?
loss, we can be dishonest because Kakashi's just as cool. You just don't think Konohamaru is cool because Kakashi. Oh, he beat a couple of what was it, tuning from the Mist Village with the Demon Brothers, who technically Naruto and really just Sasuke soloed by himself anyways. He lost to Zabuza and then he beat Zabuza. Okay, and then he was scared from Orochimaru, trembling, and then he says like Kabuto. Kabuto's his equal. Kabuto. And then he's training, climbing up the wall, saying, "Man, I can't believe how rusty I've gotten." He's like fighting random fodder Jonin with Guy during the Konoha Crush. He does nothing for the rest of the series. He goes
No,
after
no,
at the end of the Sasuke
that's
retrieval arc
just
and just does nothing. Yeah,
This is
I'm being
just
disingenuous.
this
Yeah.
is just
It's the same
this is
thing
just
with
being
Konohamaru.
silly. No, it's not Ood. The reason why that has impact is because you saw Kakashi actually have a prolonged battle with somebody who is perceived to be powerful. You do not get that with Konohamaru. With Jugo, you get a short, quick battle, and that's it. And he's out for the count after that. He does nothing else later. Versus Victor, he's nerfed. Versus Victor, his fight is completely off screen. First fight was Victor off screen. You don't even see it.
Also,
Second
really
fight, he's
one-sided
complete.
against him.
Second fight, he's nerfed. He can't even properly use his hand. And then in the Lemon arc, which is an arc that's not very good, but if you want to say that, he doesn't even win against the guy. He can't even use the jutsus that he has. He can't even steal the dang thing.
But why are
So
you
that was a
talking
failure as
about
well.
whether or not a character is good or bad based on their
I'm
win-loss
talking
ratio in a
about
fight?
I'm talking about what he's displaying. What I'm saying is what Konohamaru is displaying. You don't get prolonged battles with the guy like you got with Kakashi. Battles that people put a lot of stock into at that time of the series. And remember, you do not get stuff like that with Konohamaru. You get one minute scene that he does cool things and you get nothing else.
If we're being technical, Kakashi never got a win in part 1. He never defeated Zabuza.
I'm
Haku
clearly
defeated Zabuza the
I'm
first
clearly
time, then
not
his
talking about
dogs, and
wins.
then Gato's men defeated Zabuza in the second fight.
Why are you so focused on the win thing, Oodie? I'm clearly not talking
Because
about wins.
because the
I'm
best
talking
moments
about
of both of these characters
playing
aren't
what you
their
can do.
fights. Some of the best moments from Kakashi in part 1 is him telling Sasuke about his tragic past.
Yeah,
Konohamaru's best
that was
moments
peak.
aren't his wins. The point of the characters
Dude,
is the
this
characterization,
has
their behaviors, their
okay.
role in the series.
I
Konohamaru serves his role in the
this
same
is
way
very
Kakashi does.
this is
Just a
very
different
silly.
role.
This is very silly because what I was talking about when I first mentioned this stuff is that Konohamaru, since he never had those in-depth battles, when he finally loses to Kashin Koji, there's no impact because he lost every single time before. He was perceived as weak. Even if he's not actually weak, that was what he was perceived as by a general people of the community. Even if they're wrong, I don't blame them for saying that because he lost so many battles leading up to Kashin Koji. It's just him taking another L.
I
So that
disagree
scene doesn't actually have the impact does it have that it's
because
supposed to
we
have.
have gag moments and then serious moments following that to subvert the expectation. With Kakashi, we see an eraser fall on his head. We see he's late. Team 7 calls him a deadbeat and lazy. Sasuke throws shuriken at him. It ends the episode on the cliffhanger thinking that it hits him, and it turns out it was just a clone. Like, everything they do with Kakashi at the beginning of the series makes him look like a clown. But we know later on
What?
when he's serious, like when he's talking to Sasuke fighting Zabuza, I will not let
Those
you
scenes
die.
don't
I will defend your life with my life.
those
He's a cool, good
those
character.
scenes don't frame Kakashi like a
Yes,
clown.
it
Those
does.
scenes frame like,
Follows
oh,
lust
no
on the
they
path of
don't.
life. It's the same thing with
Yeah, it's
Konohamaru.
like
It's just
he's
gag
it
moments.
it frames him as being like
They frame him like
silly,
a
but
goof. It's
really
like
cool and
he's like a
OP.
silly
It's
goofball.
not
They
silly.
frame him.
It's
Yeah,
OP.
it's what Kamui did. It's what Kamui said. He's fair. They're also like, oh, he's really cool and he's kind of mysterious. He's also a bit of a goofball. And then you see him get serious. Konohamaru, I don't even know why you brought that up in the first place. That literally has nothing to do with what I was saying.
It's
Like
gag
not
moments
even a
and then
little bit.
serious moments to subvert the
It,
expectation. An eraser hitting Kakashi's head doesn't make
okay.
him mysterious. You know what makes him mysterious? Him talking about
What
his
did that have?
comrades that died to Naruto when he's looking at
That has
the monument.
that has literally absolutely nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Not even
Kakashi's
remotely.
first
What I'm
good moment is the
what
worse
my
than scum
what
line.
no please tell me what that has to do with Konohamaru. I'm talking about the Kashin
Because
Koji
it's the
scene
concept
and the
of
fact that it didn't have
funny
proper.
moments followed by serious cool moments. You get funny moments with
But
Konohamaru, then
what does
followed by serious cool moments.
that doesn't?
I'm
What
gonna
does
be
that have
honest.
to
I
do
think
with what
he's
I'm
just
talking about,
trolling.
Louis?
I don't think he's being serious because yeah, this is he's just saying
That
it.
those are,
Go ahead, Saron.
those are that has nothing to do with anything. Also, what cool, completely jaded by lots of uncool moments with Konohamaru. By the time you get to the Kashin battle, you forget about all the two cool moments that he had in the series because he lost to Victor once. His battle's completely off screen. He lost to Victor again. And then he loses to Kashin. And then even before that, he gets shot off guarded by Victor, by Al, and then saves Boruto's life, and then gets damaged yet again. Then has his battle with Kashin Koji. So it's just series after L after L after L, and that's why people perceive him that way. Do you think I agree? No, I love Konohamaru because of part one. I like Konohamaru a lot. That's why I'm so irritated with his representation in Boruto. Because I feel like what they could have done instead was actually have Konohamaru get proper showcases in battle, even if he doesn't win. As long as he gets a good showcase, that stuff will stay in people's minds. He
Man,
doesn't
do you
get stuff
remember
like
in the
that.
Forest of Death when Orochimaru uses like fear paralysis and then
I wonder if you're gonna
Sasuke had to
bring
stab
something
himself to
else that's
move?
completely irrelevant.
Excuse you, I'm
Wow.
trying to communicate understandment here. Thank you. Like I was saying, Force of Death uses fear paralysis. Sasuke stabs himself to free himself, but he's still like in fear. Genin Sakura is like, well, at least Naruto's doing something. You know what Sasuke does? He actually does something. He fights him. And then you see Kakashi versus Orochimaru. Kakashi stand there freaking pooping his pants. Why is Genin Sakura more inspirational in terms of fighting Orochimaru than Jonin Kakashi?
Because Joni Kakashi actually knows who he's fighting against. And Orochimaru is more likely to be serious against that Kakashi than
Are you like,
Sasuke.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, the audience doesn't know that at the time.
I
Honestly, neither does Yasu, by the
I
way.
I I agree with what Kamui said. Um,
Of course he did.
Kakashi was completely frightened, of course, because when you see Kakashi crap his pants against Orochimaru, it's alluded to the fact that Kakashi does actually know who Orochimaru even is.
Yeah, you know why?
Sasuke had
Because
no
that
idea
doesn't.
who
No, it's the same.
Orochimaru
It's
is.
okay. That works fine. Because that's not a loss for Kakashi. That doesn't make Kakashi look weak. It makes Orochimaru look strong. The same thing with Konohamaru's enemies. If Konohamaru loses, we know Konohamaru is strong. Therefore, his enemies look stronger than Konohamaru looks weaker. Konohamaru doesn't look weaker. His
So,
enemies just look stronger.
so Udi, to make a comparison with Code here, we know we know Konohamaru is strong, but he doesn't feel strong because of XYZ. We know Code is really strong without his limiters on, but he doesn't feel strong because you only see him getting bodied after the fact.
This
We know he's
is
stronger than
that
Jigen. We know he's freaking god level, but he doesn't feel that strong because he gets no diffed by everyone.
I mean, feels pretty strong to
yes,
me.
and that's basically this is my problem. So here's the
No
issue.
diff
If
Sasuke.
Konohamaru had an in-depth If Konohamaru had an in-depth battle with Victor, he's going back and forth with him, still loses and has to be saved by Orochimaru. Doesn't matter he lost. What matters is he actually got to display all of his abilities, and you got to see him have a high difficulty battle against somebody who can use all five changes in chakra nature. Him losing isn't the problem. That's not even my problem. My problem is his lack of display. He just shows up, gets beat up, and loses. That's it, for the most part. And you see that over and over and over again leading up to the Kashin Koji defeat. It no longer has the impact that it could have had he had a proper display in battle, in a prolonged battle, just like Team 7 got. An actual prolonged battle, and then so you actually perceive him as semi-strong, then he loses.
I mean, are
I'm
you
not saying
forgetting the part
Konohamaru
where
hasn't no.
Konohamaru does all the Rasengans and stuff? But okay, I mean, at least I mean,
Oh,
Kakashi just stood there against
oh,
Orochimaru. He didn't even move. At least Konohamaru does stuff. Like he moves. And plus, you're really
against
saying
Kashin
prolonged
Koji?
battle in the Land of Waves as if that isn't the slowest pacing in the entire series. Like, I'm sorry that Boruto's pacing is tight in it. Is that a complaint now? I thought that was a good thing, but okay.
Another completely stupid thing to say. I
Ad
said
hominem.
like Team 7. The Team 7 battle was pretty well paced. It was flowed pretty well. Could have given Konohamaru less content, but at least a little bit more than what he got.
You realize
Which
when you
was
say
my
Team
hand
7
shaking. I'm
battle, I
nerfed. I
don't know
can't
what
do
you're
anything.
referring to.
Just referring to the car actuation arc.
If I'm
Konohamaru is just
referencing
throwing around a
Deepa,
kunai.
if I'm referencing Victor versus Konohamaru, and I'm like, what Team 7 got, what do you think that means? Obviously, I'm referencing the Team 7 battle.
Okay.
With Deepa. Obviously.
There's more than one Team 7
Very
battle,
clearly.
but okay.
But Oodie, I think you're missing the point with his. It's the order here. If Konohamaru has a lack of display until the one time you kind of see him fight is Kashin Koji. It's different from Kakashi, who you've already seen him fight. So the one time he just is standing there shitless, that makes us like, damn, based off what we've seen, that means Orochimaru's strong. Versus Konohamaru hasn't done anything for the most part, in the eyes of a lot of people at least. And then it's like, oh, he's kind of fighting now, but like, as far as we know, this guy's freaking bandit level. You know, that's the mindset of people.
Because,
I'm not saying it
yeah.
right. It's the mindset you get based off what you're seeing.
But we
Even
have
though you
seen
know he's a
Konohamaru
very
fight.
high level Jody.
We have seen Konohamaru finish a fight. At this point in the series, we haven't even seen Kakashi finish a fight.
This
It's also how those
This you
villains are
have.
perceived, right?
I mean, I would
The
consider
villains-
the end of the Zabuza fight is finished. Yeah, Haku's like he beat him. Okay, then Haku saves his ass both times.
It's also how villains are displayed. Villains, how they're displayed themselves, is also important. Zabuza gets a proper display. He shows multiple jutsus. He shows being able to clash with Kakashi. They do this entire hand sign thing. The only display that you get of the person that Konohamaru can fight, that he's fighting, is, oh, he did a Sealy Jutsu. That's it. That guy isn't perceived to be a very strong opponent. He looks like just fodder. He wasn't displayed to be able to do anything else. So when Konohamaru defeats that guy, it has no impact, because he had nothing to him as a fighter. He was just a guy who could do one thing that they saw, and that was it.
Okay,
It's
like I
also the
said,
difference of how
Kakashi definitely didn't
menacing
defeat
the villain
Zabuza.
is.
Ninja Hounds defeated Zabuza
How
before Gato's men.
Like I said, it doesn't matter, and I feel like you're joking with me at this point.
Yeah, that's why I said he's trolling. But like
Ad
how
hominem.
menacing the villain is makes a big difference. Like I
Okay,
don't know how
and I've
strong
seen
that bandit
Naruto
actually was,
reactors
but
go.
he might have been that guy might have been stronger than Gara on the tuning exams. I don't know if he was, but he could have been. But Gara sure as hell was more menacing, and it makes it feel more impactful when Naruto beats him because
that guy could have.
Okay,
That guy Konohamaru defeated could have been as strong as Zabuza. I don't know.
So Sasuke goes from trembling
feel
against.
like as scary as Zabuza.
Sasuke goes from trembling
He didn't feel
against
as powerful
Zabuza to no diffing Zabuza's 1/10 power clones to fighting and defeating Zabuza, Haku in one-on-one, hand-to-hand combat. Haku, who is stated stronger than Zabuza, and then he goes on to get
Haku
no
wasn't
diffed
going
by
all out.
Lee. Okay, I understand. I'm saying from the audience's first time
It's made very
viewing, you can
apparent.
easily see Lee as stronger than Haku, who is stronger than Zabuza. At that point in the series, you could argue that Sasuke is stronger than Zabuza. The point here is to say that, no, if you're being disingenuous, then no, Zabuza isn't actually all that impressive at that point of the series. Because confident Sasuke is no diffing his clones.
Yeah, but in that scene, they literally make a comment like, well, those clones are only 10% of your power. But it was like, it's like, damn, even though they were water clones and only like 10% of your power, still impressive because of how strong Zabuza is.
But why are you doing that for Naruto, but not for Boruto? It applies to Konohamaru.
Because in Boruto, they don't do that. It's not what they're not saying like
They
they
didn't
don't
even
do
hype
stuff
up
like
that
that.
guy's. They didn't even hype up that guy's power. They were again. He's just a random jobber. He gets
God.
nothing. He gets nothing. Ood, what? How do they hype up that guy's power? Can you explain it to me?
Okay, so
How do they make you perceive him as somebody who's competent and strong?
okay, why is
How do they do that
Zabuza
other than
strong?
saying he's a bandit?
Because Zabuza, he passed the academy, so therefore he's what, like academy passing level?
He is a because the
You
moment he
see,
shows up,
was
Kakashi's
he?
like, Zabu-sama Mochi, like you're the A rank in the bingo book. And he starts talking about how he's a
He
freaking,
tried to
super good
assassinate
assassin.
Hokage.
Zabuza starts doing cool shit, talking about all this cool assassin stuff. He blitzes everyone with his assassin tricks. They're all
Did they not
frightened as
talk about
shit.
how he
And then
tried
he
to
starts going on
assassinate
about how he
Hokage as well?
slaughters academy class. And it's like, oh my god, that's way harder than what we have to do. That's freaky.
Okay,
then-
so
Kamui, I
if
forget.
if
Did
Team
they talk
7
about
in their
the
mission talks
assassination of
about how
Hokage?
strong those quote unquote bandit Jonin are, why is it not the same thing?
Again,
I
you're
don't
still
think they
making
even
up the
do
Jonin
that.
thing. They don't even do that. It's
You're
actually
just
they're
saying
not
that.
even referenced as Jonin. No, I'm not just saying that. You're just saying that they're references.
Yeah, so they just don't talk at all. Yeah, they just don't mention them. They just like ignore them. In fact, they don't even fight.
They might be Jonin, but they don't actually say they are.
Yeah, remember when like they just didn't crazy, huh? When they just like no diff beat them, like one shot, like it was so easy. Like they didn't even sweat.
I mean, we're supposed to
Is
just think
that
they're
and
getting, right? Like,
they're like straight out of the academy, like they're all like semi-Jonin level. I'm saying, are they Jonin level? Yes, they probably are. Were they called Jonin? No,
I mean, Haku was never even a
they weren't
and
ninja.
again,
called
Uni,
Jonin.
Haku never passed the academy. At least
Uni,
Sasuke's a Genin.
Uni, 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 you're missing the point. We're not talking about what is the case. We're talking about what it feels like. Konohamaru is strong, but he doesn't feel strong. These freaking bandits probably are strong, but they don't feel strong. It feels to the audience. Doesn't matter what
Not only
is really.
Okay,
What
and
matters is how
I'm
only
it
the
they
audience
not only
too. So it makes your
not
interpretation
only are
more
they
than
not
mine. I think he
they're
feels
not
strong.
very impactful villains. They're not very impactful villains. They don't display anything like at all. Like the guy Konohamaru fights, like I said before, the only thing he does is a ceiling jutsu. That's the only thing he displays.
Jutsu on the Ten Tails, was that not strong to you?
In comparison to Zabuza, what makes you think he's strong?
Who, Konohamaru?
And to how they, in comparison to how they hype up Zabuza, what makes you, how do you think, what makes you think that the person Konohamaru fought was strong? In
It's like
comparison
the
to how they hype up
same thing
Zabuza.
as a Land of Waves. It was the same
No, it's
struggle.
not.
It was
It's
the
a much
same
worse version of
conflict
the Land of
and
Waves,
the same
sure.
struggle. Yes, it was a quicker, more tight-knit version of the Land of Waves. I agree.
Udi, you do not think it's on the same level as the Land of Waves, and I know that because you were just getting done earlier discussing how. Oh no, just so you know, we're not saying that Kodachi Naruto's writing, okay? Because you don't actually think that.
Yeah, that wasn't in the manga.
You do
Anyways,
not think this arc is better than the manga, and I know that.
You don't know that. I could really like this arc.
Yes, I do, because you said the Kawaki arc is your favorite arc of Boruto.
Okay, so
And you
that's
were hyped,
number
and when we did the
one.
rankings of these arcs on
So what
the
does
Cloud
that
Ninja
have to
podcast,
speak
you
on
were not
this?
praising that arc as being better than the Kawaki arc or the car actuation arc or the Mojigi arc.
Well, yeah,
Or the Land
because
of Waves arc.
everyone else was talking. I didn't have room to speak.
Udi,
Or it's like,
plenty of arcs. You argued with plenty of arcs. You did not argue with that one.
it's a nice little arc. I
I
really
think you
like
ranked
it.
it like D rank,
No, I like the arc.
but you didn't like it as
he
much.
ranked that
Stream
arc
to where
pretty
there's
low.
no other person bias.
Didn't
You
he
can't
rank
have that.
Didn't you all rank that arc like C tier?
So I'm saying we ranked it like C or D or some
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. We, not me. I didn't rank it there.
Udi.
That wasn't
Okay,
my
want
list.
to pull up?
Dude,
Let's
you
prove
did.
it. You go. Let's pull it.
Wait,
Let's pull it
Ood,
up and see
Ood,
what
I
your
watched that
argument
entire.
was.
That's not my
Ood, I'm
arc
pretty
list,
sure I watched
Kamui.
your
That was
entire.
our arc list, including the
Wait,
cloud.
Udi,
Ood,